What is up? Alright, so this next exercise is going to be strikingly similar to one of the summaries we've done so far. But we're going to start doing some things a little differently. Up until now, we've been saying our tars and our TTs, our zars and our tar-ars to get us through the exercise, to get us to the other end of it. It's cool. It works. From here on in, though, we're going to start tapping them out with a pen or a pencil or something like that. And we're going to start counting the rhythms in a different way, as well as thinking about them in a different way. Alright, let's take this bar here. It's got 4 beats. If we were to say it how we used to, it would be rest T T T rest T ta. But clapping it, it's rest T T T rest T ta. And that's kind of how we've been doing it, right? What we're going to do now, though, is cut all those beats in half. So instead of saying 1, 2, 3, 4, we're going to say 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. We still have 4 beats, but now each beat has 2 parts, 2 halves. If we take our bar and we put it into this new 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and grid, we can get all of our hits or our rhythms to neatly land in one of those boxes. If we're counting and thinking about rhythm in this new way, this bar now sounds like 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Kind of get what's going on? We'll do a couple more examples, don't worry. Next example, we got our bar. Let's get our beats up. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's where they are. Now let's split them. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. And now let's figure out where they actually slot into that. Okay, so now with our new count, this bar is going to sound like 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Alright, last example. Same deal. Where are our 4 beats? 1, 2, 3 and 4. Now we're going to split them. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. And lastly, we just check to see where our beats line up with the count. Doing this example with our new count, it's going to sound like 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Kind of making sense? Finally, let's just get to it. Let's just go through this. Let's do it. Let's jump in. Oh my God, let's go. All right, guys, let's do it. So we are now counting 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and we are tapping. Let's go over this first bar first, and we're gonna go over this one too, I reckon. One thing to maybe say first is when we have beats such as this one here, and this one here, where the rhythm inside it goes for the whole beat, we don't really need to say the and. So let me show you what I mean when we get to 3 and 4. So we're counting this one, we'd have 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. I don't really need to say 4 and. And on the 3 when I was whispering, because it is a rest, I didn't say the and there either, because you kind of just don't need to. So again, it would be 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. This one here, 1 and 2, 3 and 4. Again, not really saying those. Let's dig in though. I reckon we're ready. Again, you can slow it down if you need to, so keep that in mind. Alright guys, I was listening back to this and I reckon it's a bit quick. If I was you, I would slow this down to half speed or 0.75 to make it a bit easier for yourself. Sorry, my bad. Anyway, back to the lesson. Let's do it. 60 BPM, 1 bar in, let's go. 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 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 and 4 and 1 and 2, 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2, 3 and 4 and 1 and 2, 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 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 3 and 4 and 1 and 2, 3, 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2, 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2, 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 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and... Nailed it, yeah? Hope so. It's a bit tricky. That might have been a bit fast. Remember, you can slow it down if you need. Maybe some of the ones you might want to just pause the screen on and just kind of go over them a few times. Ones that might be a little bit tricky to you. Let's say this one here was just a bit tricky to get. 1 and 2 and 3, 4 and... Maybe just loop that for a bit. Or maybe we were looking at the bar below it. This one right here. 1 and 2, 3 and 4. Maybe looping that a few times. Anyway, hope you guys are well. Take it easy.